Today's guest is that blue-eyed bluegrass bad boy. You know it. He's a Grammy Award winner. He has a new album, Renewal, that is out now wherever you stream music. He's the pride of Michigan. He just got back from the Grammys, so I'm looking forward to just to getting to know him. Today's guest is Mr. Billy Strings.
Shine that light on me. I'll sit and tell you my stories. Shine on me, and I will find a song I will sing it. I'm on
Yeah, thanks for coming in, bro.
No problem.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for all the wild music, dude.
No problem, man. That's
Yeah.
my pleasure.
How was the Grammys? You went to the Grammys?
Yeah. No, it was great. I brought my mom and dad out there.
No. And did you get to take them last time? I know you've been before.
Yeah. No, the last time I didn't bring my parents, but this time the record that I was nominated for was actually, I was nominated for 3 things, but the main one for me was this record that I made called Me and Dad, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a record that I made with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one that taught me how to play and taught me all about bluegrass and stuff and taught me how to wipe my ass and tie my shoes and everything. So to kind of grow up and make a record with him was just a big deal, man. It was something that it was like a bucket list thing for me for a long time, you know.
Like it had been weighing on you a little bit even?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because
Wow.
I've been on tour. Like when I was 19, I hit the road and haven't stopped. And, you know, I'm like 31 now. And, you know, it was like, man, time just is slipping by. And my dad's getting older and I need to make this record. And then gigs just keep getting booked. And it's like, well, when am I even going to make it? And so eventually I just went to my manager and said, yo, let's block off time. I need to make a record with my dad. Like, he's getting older. I'm getting old, you know. It's time. Like, we got to do this. So we did it, and it was awesome. You know, we got nominated for a Grammy. Brought my folks out there and, you know, had them posted up at the Sunset Marquee and just, like, showed them a great time, you know?
Yeah.
And
that had to feel pretty amazing just because I think a lot of people want to have that moment where they kind of pay homage to a family member, somebody who's gotten them emotionally there sometimes, you know?
it's everything to me. My dad is just, I wouldn't know anything about bluegrass music and Doc Watson and all the stuff that I cut my teeth on, and is the reason why I have a good life today and, you know, a career and everything. It's all because of when I was a little kid, he was so inspiring, you know. He's just sitting around picking, and he was like, everybody's kind of like, we'd have parties and stuff, and everybody would just be sitting around vibing and smoking a couple of joints, having a few beers, and my dad would be playing until he's like red in the face, and everybody's singing along, and just I was a little kid being like, damn, my dad's fucking cool as hell. You know what I mean? And I want to be like that when I grow up. And so I was a little shit already wanting to be a bluegrass musician. So it's like, well, what I've always wanted to do. So it's, you know, it's all because of him and bringing him out there and like walking on the red carpet with him and shit. You know, he's small town, old country folk. Like, you know, it was hilarious. We were doing this interview for like Billboard or some shit, and the guy's like, oh my God, you guys look fabulous. Who are you wearing? And my dad's like, well, these are Levi's, and my son bought me this shirt, and I got my jacket at a Western store. And I was just like, this is fucking the best thing ever.
Yeah, what are you wearing? Hand me ups.
Yeah, like, who are you wearing? It's like Levi's, and you know, and
this was my cousins, you know. And
yeah, the guy asked us too, asked my dad, like, who, if you could meet anybody here at the, you know, Grammys, who would you want to meet? And he said Tommy Emmanuel, which is so awesome. He's just like a amazing guitar player. And
Tommy Emmanuel was?
Yeah, well, he is, you know. And,
oh, sorry, bring him up.
Yeah, and then he, you know, he ended up meeting Tommy that day. So it was just, yeah, it's crazy.
And who does Tommy play for? Wow.
Well, he's just the man himself, man. He plays solo and.
Oh, I'm not even familiar with him.
Oh man, he's a killer. Yeah, he's a monster.
And he's an Australian. Yeah, I'm going to Australia in just a week or so.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Tommy Emmanuel. He's like, grew up kind of. He's sort of from like that Chet Atkins school. He knows a lot of. I mean, he can flat pick. He can play fingerstyle. He can do everything. But he's a motherfucker on the guitar, man. There's a lot of good guitar players. I don't know if Tommy lives around here, but there's this other guy, Jack Pearson, that lives here in town too. That's like sort of. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people don't really know about him. But he's like the best guitar player I've ever seen in my life, I think.
Jack Pearson?
Jack Pearson.
Let's get a look at him.
Man.
Oh, yeah.
He's literally the guitar player's guitar player. He's the man.
Jack Pearson. Yeah, man. He looks like an adventurous guy. What makes you say that? What makes you like admire somebody so much on the guitar?
Well, I feel like when Jack Pearson touches the guitar, it's kind of like effortless. For me, it's hard. It takes a lot of work. And, I think people when you see a true master sit down at their instrument, like at the piano or on their guitar or whatever it is, it's just like breathing for them. I mean, watching Jack Pearson's fingers go over the fretboard is just like water. It's just so smooth. And I'm just like, how's that even possible?
Wow, for you to say how is that even possible? It's interesting to hear like somebody who a lot of people would consider amazing at something, how they then see somebody that's amazing at something.
I'm a player, and I've always been a player, but I'm not a master. I'm not a Jedi yet. There are people that are Jedis on their instruments, bro.
Wow, that's
like
crazy.
For real. And then they stick me in the room with them and say, go play. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't belong here. I recently just did this thing with Chris Thiele and Corey Henry, Chris Thiele is literally MacArthur Grant award-winning genius, like the best in the world at his instrument. And, yeah.
And what does he play?
Mandolin.
Oh, the mandolin.
Yeah, man.
There's a famous song, Mandolin Rain, right?
Mandolin Rain?
My friend Josh Kelly plays the mandolin. It was originally by Hornsby and Range, Bruce Hornsby.
Oh,
and then I think what is it called when you
like a remix or redo it?
Remastered or redid a song, yeah. Covered, yeah.
He covered it.
Mandolin Rain, yeah. So so you're sitting there at the Grammys with your parents.
Yeah.
And you're nominated.
Uh-huh.
Wow, bro. So that energy when you're sitting there, because I've never been there, right? So like when you're sitting there, is it like, and like how long do you know that your award is coming up next or something? Like how much?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, we were kind of sitting there and like waiting for ours to come, and I would kind of go out and, I got some nachos and shit, and I would chill, and I'd come back and, are we up yet? Kind of thing. And but it was great. Then the performances were great, and we were having a good time. Just like I have a hard time sometimes being in loud environments because my ears ring constantly, and I'm super sensitive to like if I'm in a restaurant and somebody scratches their fork on their plate or something, like, dude, I'll snap.
Dude, I will literally call the fucking police on somebody who bangs their silverware against their plate too loudly. Like,
I don't know what it is.
I know what it is. It's unbelievable somebody would do that. If there's a business that has chairs that when people pull them out, they make the most insane screeching sound and ruin the experience, and I will never go back to there. I will Google review there. But I will never return. There's a coffee place nearby. Somebody pulled a chair out the other day. I used to love that place. I will fucking not even drive by there in the daytime anymore.
It's OV.
I will go around because I don't even want to bring my energy over there where people are scraping stuff on the floor. But yeah. So do you guys get like burnt? Like you said, your ears ring. Is that a common thing amongst I guess musicians? I never even thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, some people get it. It's called like tinnitus or tinnitus.
Oh yeah, I've heard of tinnitus.
Wait, well, how does it say that it's pronounced? Because this is the actual audiologist lady. When I went there, and the doctor lady, she calls it tinnitus, but I'm like, I don't get fucking arthritis.
Yeah. I don't get.
It's called tinnitus, right?
Yeah. I'm not in like a Yeah, I don't get like shingillicus or whatever. If you're, or like in a wheelchair.
Tinnitus. No way.
Tinnitus.
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 That's what it says.
Tinnitus. Oh, tinnitus, I think, is something you get in Memphis, probably. It's a little bit more.
Tinnitus.
Yeah, but that lady's the same lady in my car. That lady is not, I don't trust that lady.
Yeah, she can't even tell.
Oh, yeah,
like when I play a song, she can't even recognize it on the fucking phone. So
she can't recognize my sister's name. Okay, I can't call my sister anymore because that lady won't let me, and she can't even get me to Murfreesboro. So yeah, I'm out. Do you know in advance at the Grammys if you're going to win or not, or you don't know?
No, we have no idea.
Wow.
And you know, it was just, to me, it was like all about bringing my folks there and having that experience. You know, we went the last time. It's just an honor to be nominated and to be even spoken in the same sentence as the other nominees, like Molly Tuttle and Sam Bush, and Willie Nelson was in that category. And, you know, it's just, for me, it's like to even be in a classmate of these people is like, cool. I'm in the same class, at least. I'm good. That's enough honor for me. Like, all I've ever wanted in my life is just to be like a respected musician. And that's, you know, I guess like what it really is, the Grammys and stuff, is just being recognized by your peers, you know, and so it's a great honor, you know, but it's really nice to win. Like I won one, and it's cool, but it's not why we do it, you know. Oh yeah, I would have loved to gotten my dad one. Yeah, but Molly Tuttle's record and her band and what she's been doing, she's been working her ass off. I gotta tune into her. Yeah, she's. Dude, I'm so glad you're here to say some of these names, because I start thinking how I got to get into more new music, and I'm just not getting enough of it. Man, there's a lot of great bluegrass happening, and I think there's like something happening right now where people are like getting back into bluegrass again. Or like, you know, banjo music and kind of hillbilly music. Well, I think people are generally, I think there's a general feeling in the universe, for me anyway, I know it is, that I want to get back to something that feels like less industrialized. I want to get back to something that feels a little bit more connected to something human inside of me. Man, I think that it like goes in circles almost. If you think about... I mean, back in the day, like let's say in the 50s and early 60s and stuff, there was a time where Blue Moon of Kentucky was like the biggest song out. Wow. It was like, you know, one of Morgan Wallen's songs or something. Yeah. It was like the biggest hit. It was like Miley Cyrus, Flowers. Blue Moon of Kentucky, Keep on Shining. There was a time where Bill Monroe's song was like the biggest song out. You know, Elvis covered it. That was on the B-side to one of Elvis's first, I didn't know that. Releases. Yeah. And then it's kind of like rock and roll came out, you know, and stuff started getting really electric. Drums, you know, all this stuff started happening. And then in the 60s, there was like this sort of whole barefoot sort of hippie movement where people wanted to get organic and back to the earth again and play acoustic instruments and feel their feet on the grass. And, you know, and then the 70s happened, which was just fucking, in my opinion, just one of the best eras of music. Like, really? And everything. Man, I feel like people were just making kick-ass records then. I feel like the records sounded good. The way they were recorded was just like the gear at that time was just killer. And I don't know, there's something about when I go through my collection, the records from the 70s like stand out as like, for one thing, people were, you know, when they were in the studio, they were like working hard. Maybe they just had really good cocaine or something. Yeah. Oh, they probably did. I mean, we can't even... It's sad our kids can't even get good cocaine in this country anymore. It's kind of fucked. I mean, it's unbelievable. It was a decent upper. I mean, you'd have a trucker would get there, yeah. He could get his load done and get home to see his family, and now he can't even do it because he's
he's overdosed somewhere. Or
Shame, man.
Yeah, or he's on those gas station uppers, which don't do anything.
Yeah, or he's stopping every 5 minutes to do a bump because the shit ain't anything, and he can't even make his haul, It's like that disco shit used to make the whole trip, man. You feel like a dentist. Like you just got back from the fucking dentist after that shit.
Your whole body felt like you got a molar pulled out of it. Felt like they pulled a molar out of your brain, man. Yes, that stuff was probably so good. I bet one little line would get you, like, guaranteed to get you to Atlanta.
I'd write an entire album.
Yeah.
I'd write an album.
Yeah.
I'd fucking, man. I'd be like, well, let's triple this guitar part. Let's have 3 drummers. I need more didgeridoos, and let's record it all to tape, and it's going to sound incredible.
I need a tambourine. Yeah. But now, dude, I'll do a couple. Yeah, I mean, or I'm sober now, but I would do a couple of grams or whatever, and the shit's got so much Sherwin-Williams back end on it. It's like
it's just
I'm doing
not worth
drywall.
it.
Next thing you know, I'm applying to do drywall. It's like
It's just not worth it anymore. And yeah. I mean, I think I like held out for like the last couple years. I was like, okay, someday I'm going to come across something good.
Yeah.
But it just never happened. I was like, okay, it's actually over. Like, it's not worth it anymore. Especially with all the fentanyl and shit. Like, people are dying from just, I know people that have just gone out to just, have a like harmless little party.
Yeah.
And ended up dead because they did like a line or something. It's
horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, that's unbelievable. And the fact that family never got prosecuted that started that opioid epidemic, that didn't help anything either. Sorry.
The Sackler?
Yeah.
Like, oh, man.
That shit, dude, I wake up, I think half of America wakes up furious about that every day, that family got off the hook.
I mean, I grew up in a small town. A lot of my homies were, at that time, like, it was, you had people stealing from their grandmas and shit, stealing their, TVs and shit to sell to get money to buy oxys and shit, Wow. And I remember doing that shit a little bit. I'd do it like, because it was just around. I mean, like I said, I grew up in a small town. I just never really had any rules.
Where were you at?
Well, I grew up in this little town called Muir.
Muir?
Population 666 last time I checked, which is hilarious. Yeah,
John Muir? No.
I don't know. Just Muir, and it's right outside of this town called Ionia in Michigan.
Ionia, maybe I've heard of it.
Yeah. Will you look up the population of Muir, Michigan?
And Ionia was probably a slave town, I'm guessing, just by the name of it.
It's a prison town.
It is?
There's like, I mean, when I was living there, there was like, there's like 7 prisons there. Wow. Like most people either work at the prisons or like...
Or in them, probably.
Yeah, are getting hauled off to them. There we go. Wow. I told you, dude. 666 people. It's a small ass town, and Ionia was like, the town like where I went to school and all that. Why are we talking about Ionia again?
We're just saying, what was it like
the oxys
people
and shit.
getting oxys.
Man, when I was in school and shit, I was a terrible student. I had a handful of teachers. Like my home life was like kind of colorful at the time. It was.
And your dad was the music guy you spoke about.
Yeah. My parents, are both just like really awesome. They're kind of old hippies but they're like hippies and redneck, half hippies and half redneck in a way. And it's like, they're just kick ass. They taught me about so much good music, my mom and shit. Taught me about like everything from Hendrix to the Beatles and Zeppelin, and my dad taught me about Bill Monroe and Doc Watson and Flatt and Scruggs and about fishing, and it's just like they were different parents, and during the time, I mean, like when I was in middle school and high school and stuff, like I said, stuff was kind of crazy,
At home, you mean, at the house?
Yeah, and we're all like, my parents are recovering addicts, aren't we all?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I was at a meeting 2 hours ago. So
yeah, well, good.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
No judgment at all. Half our audience is there.
No, and man, they're doing so great these days, and we all are too. It's like we've all sort of made it through some crazy shit, and we made it out the other side, and we went, holy shit, how the hell did we do that. But that is to say that I'm super proud of my parents, these days. And I'm proud of myself. We all made it out of that shit. Yeah. It was crazy. I mean,
did you struggle too sometimes?
I don't want to say like that I never struggled, because I mean, I was never like a hardcore addict to anything. I mean, I haven't drank in 7 years, but I don't, even then, it's not like I guess I'm an alcoholic. I don't know when to stop. Like every once in a while. It's like, it's not like I even drank all the time or anything, but every once in a while it's like, man, we had a good gig. I remember the last night I drank was like June 16th, 2016. And we had this killer gig, and crowd was ape shit, and we sold a bunch of merch, and it's like, yes, man, like let's go to the bar, like drinks on me. Yeah. And we were all drinking. I mean, I did Coke that night. I was drinking wine, beer, and liquor, and it was just I didn't eat anything like for a day and a half, and it was just crazy. So I woke up the next morning and I had the worst hangover ever. And I was like, oh, and we got in the van. We had to drive like 5 hours to make it to the next gig, to get there by 3 so we could load in, sound check, and play our gig. But I thought I was good to go. And then when I got in the van, I go, oh, hold up. And I went and puked by the bushes or whatever. Got back in the van. 10 minutes later, I'm going, oh, fuck, pull over. And then every 10 minutes for, it took us 7 hours to drive the 5-hour drive because I had to stop and puke. We were late for load in and sound check. We had to set up our gear in front of the audience, all just hungover. It was like embarrassing. It was all because I was so drunk the night before, and I was like, I'm never doing this again, and I haven't drank since.
Well, they probably wait on something. Yeah, sometimes when there's a moment, I feel like, for me anyway, I know, and it just sounds like it, like if there's a moment where you can get enough reflection where like it costs you something that means something to you. Like in a moment. My
career was just, I could see it. It's like, man, if I don't fuck this up, I could actually turn this into something maybe. Yeah. It was like at the point where it's like, I shouldn't blow this, Dude, that's crazy.
Because that kind of moment doesn't happen to a lot of people. Where you just have that perfect thing where you're on stage, you're loading in, you're like, fuck, we're late. It's because of me. And
it started as like, okay, I'm not drinking at least for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah. And shout out to everybody that's ever said that.
You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not, okay, at least till next weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
till this baby's 2.
Yeah. And then so that turned into, well, I'm not drinking for the rest of the week. And that turned into 2 weeks, months, 2 years, 7 years.
Yeah.
Wow. It's like now what a big moment for me was when I realized how many times I had slept in the hotel room with them little mini bottles in my fridge, and I never even fucking thought about it.
Yeah.
One day I was in there and I reach in there to grab a Coke or something, and I realized that I was reaching right past a bottle of Jack Daniels, and then I realized how many other times I had done that before, and then I never even fucking thought about, well, I'm all alone in my hotel room right now. I could just nobody would know. Just you know, and I've never even like thought about it. It's like, wow, it's really kind of out of the back of my mind. That's so good, Yeah,
and I think people have started to evolve. I was looking at a chart the other day that drinking has gone. It's not as big on college campuses. That it's just that drinking is it started to like dissipate or whatever, the desire for it.
Did you go to college?
Yeah, I went to LSU, and we were drinking over there. I think I was kind of like you. I didn't love getting all wasted, but
oh, I fucking loved it.
You did?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like when it was going down, right? And it was like, wait a minute, man. Like it was the celebration thing. It's like, man, you get a couple in you, it's like all of a sudden it's tasting good. Even the more I drink, the better it tastes. And that's the other thing too, is like I never drank for, people drink wine and they drink these heady beers, these hoppy beers and everything and all. And it's like
Whisper and Hooker.
Man, I grew up drinking fifths of McMasters and Captain Morgan and shit. I never gave a fuck about what it tastes like. It's like, I just want to get blacked out. That's the goal.
That pirate syrup, baby. That shit'll get you, bro.
Yeah.
Young adults in U.S. drinking less than in prior decades. I feel that, man. Let me see what it says here. It says 62% of adults under age 35 say they drink, down from 72% 2 decades ago.
How does that correlate to teen pregnancy?
That's a great question. I don't know, but I think they should put birth control in some of this.
White Claws?
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, dude. I was gonna say probably. I wish meth had like a birth control aspect to it.
Oh man!
But I would go White Claw.
I think it does. I think when you smoke meth, just everything dries up.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, maybe that's true. I never smoked that. I always wanted to smoke crack. I never got to smoke crack.
Damn. It's
Did you ever smoke it?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh fuck yeah.
No way, dude. Damn, bro. Ever tried to break a bad habit and felt like you were climbing Mount Everest in flip-flops? Well, I've been there. Yeah, I've been there recently. But here's a breath of fresh air. Fume. It's not about giving up. It's about switching up. Fume takes your habit and simply makes it better, healthier, and a whole lot more enjoyable. Fume is an innovative, award-winning flavored air device that does just that. Instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses delicious flavors. Yeah, I wasn't sure what to expect with Fume, but at first it took a bit of getting used to, but then it just became, a good habit. Start the year off right with the good habit by going to tryfume, that's tryfum.com/Theo, and getting the Journey Pack today. Fume is giving listeners of the show 10% off when they use my code Theo to help make starting the good habit that much easier. Thank you, Fume. You know, I wish that when I was in college, I knew that banking, I had to build my credit. I didn't know. I didn't think about it. I didn't pay phone bills. I didn't care. I didn't know anything about credit. And my bank they weren't helpful. They weren't helpful in that sense. That's why old school banking just isn't working anymore. They ding you with ridiculous fees. They play games with your money, and they want you to get into debt. So stop banking old and get Current, the future of better banking. Current is banking and credit building together. They make it easy to get paid as soon as possible, build credit safely, and save more all in one app. You can qualify for fee-free overdraft up to $200 for when you spend more than you've got. We've all done that. I remember I bought my dang mother-in-law or my brother's wife's mother. I bought her a candelabra, and that was $212. I don't know. And I was overdrawn or whatever on that. But you can set up direct deposit to get the most out of Current. So what are you waiting for? Get Current, the future of banking. Go to current.com/Theo or download the app. That's current.com/Theo. Current.com/Theo. Terms apply. Current is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services provided by Choice Financial Group, member FDIC, and Cross River Bank, member FDIC. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com or call 888-851-1172 for more information. Did you ever smoke it?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh fuck yeah.
No way, dude. Damn, bro.
Dude, I
didn't know that you smoked crack.
I wasn't like on it all the time.
Yeah, I wish.
Dude,
yeah.
I grew up in a town where there was nothing to fucking do, man. I skateboarded a little bit. I played guitar, but it was like a dead end. It felt like there was nothing to do. So everybody did drugs. And I was 16 the first time I ripped a crack rock, and it was fucking right.
God, I want that.
And you want to know what else is? I've always considered myself to have a pretty strong will. Like I said, I've been around meth and heroin and shit growing up, all my, crack and lots of coke and whatever growing up. And I never got addicted to any of it. I've been around a lot of tweakers and shit. I've seen some crazy shit, bro. I'm saying I used to live in a house where they were sleeping on my couch and shit, fucking toothless, sores on their face, fucking cigarette butts on the floor, fucking Tweakerville, man. Tweakerville.
And just taking apart stuff?
Oh, yeah. Motorcycles in the house.
No.
I'm saying.
Indoor
Speeve.
bikes?
Yeah, there used to be this guy named Speeve, bro. He lived in this old farmhouse out on Charles Road, and you walk in. It was an old farmhouse. It was like a barn that was just falling down in the backyard. You walk in, and there's like TVs like stacked on top of each other, and there's like, you can see one's like a camera on the front porch, one's just like static, you know, and homie's got a motorcycle ripped apart in his living room with like Folger coffee cans with nuts and bolts everywhere, and he's like ripping out of a light bulb. We used to get him a box. It's called getting a box. What we used to do is you get a box of Sudafed and you bring it to him or something. He's the cook. He'd give you a quarter gram or something.
Wow.
So because they were running out of people that could get Sudafed, because all them tweakers were on the list at Rite Aid and shit, and Walgreens and shit, and saying, don't, you know, this guy's been in here, he bought 13 boxes of Sudafed last week, you know, so don't sell any more Sudafed to this guy. So the cooks got to the point where they would give you a quarter gram or so for a box, you know.
Yeah. And is a quarter gram a lot of...
That's enough for a good weekend right there.
It is?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, to me, it's like whenever I hit that shit, I was up for 2 days straight. There was a time where I played guitar for 48 hours straight, and I didn't put it down.
Nuh-uh.
I swear to God. And I played pretty much the same riff the entire time.
Oh my God.
It was like I was just holding my guitar, and my fingers were just going, and I was just like, wow. And it was like an orchestra was coming out. It was like I was writing shit that I never could have imagined. It was like a Beautiful Mind type situation.
Oh my gosh, bro. And so is that just so that like, and you feel like that was drug fueled, or
yeah, absolutely. I mean, so much so that I can't even sit here and say that I'll never smoke meth again, because I might want to do it in a controlled environment as a creative experiment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Because dude, I swear to God, I think I could write an album in 3 days that's like the craziest shit ever. I don't, you know. Obviously, I'm not like condoning it. You know, like
look,
it's fucking terrible. Don't do it. But I am saying that those 48 hours when I was playing guitar straight, it was like I worked some cobwebs out in my brain that was kind of crazy. Yeah. And dude, this was crazy. So I'm sitting upstairs, and this was the first time I ever smoked meth. And I was 16, and I was upstairs. I lived on Main Street. I was in a band. My drummer, Carl, shout out Carl. But and Jordan.
Oh man,
these are my homies from back home, you know. But like,
and they passed away.
No, they're still around.
Okay, yeah. My bad then.
No,
sorry.
I mean, Jordan almost fucking passed away. He needs to fucking keep his nose clean. Goddammit. Yeah.
Amen. And so does everybody.
Yeah. But no, I lived in this house, bro, on Main Street in Ionia, which is. It's like a tiny little town, and there was this we were renting this place, right? But there was renovations happening, and I'm like, man, why is this guy coming over at fucking 7 o'clock in the morning and start banging on shit? It's fucking 7. The sun's not even barely up yet. So, you know, one of my buddies comes over who's a tweaker and figures out that this guy, the handyman who's working on this house that we're renting, is holding. And is like, you know, and I'm like, well, if you guys are going to smoke here at my house, like, I want in. Mm-hmm. So, because I was just curious about what was, you know.
Yeah, what is it?
Well, it was like my parents were into it at the time, and I was like, I want to know, like, what the hell's going on.
Oh, yeah, do some, that makes sense if somebody.
I mean, that's why I had to, my biological father died from a heroin overdose when I was 2 years old. That's why I had to do heroin. I was like, what? It was so good that took my dad from me.
Oh, man.
So I had to figure it out. And I met the Grim Reaper and shit. He tapped me on the shoulder and was like, dude, it was like, man, we're jumping stories. I got so many of them. But
I didn't know this, man. Hey, I'm sorry to hear that, dude.
Well,
it kind of breaks my heart.
Yeah,
but,
it's all good.
But it's interesting that you, I'm curious about wanting to try. Yeah,
Let me just finish the tweaking for 48 hours.
Yeah, let's start there, dude. Finish that fucking.
I was upstairs.
Yeah, a lot of people here are do home renovations. Yeah. Let's see how we can.
So this dude was working at all hours of the night and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? So, you know, my buddy figured I was tweaking, and like, you know, and they showed me how to. They're like, you got a light bulb? And I'm like, yeah. And so they showed me how to take the little silver thing off the bulb, and you can take it out, and then you put some warm salt water in there and swish it around. You get all that white shit off the bulb. Then you got a nice clear bulb. So then you kind of just tap some shit down in there, and you can burn it and smoke it. So whatever. I hit the shit. Woo! All of a sudden, where's my guitar? I want to play guitar so bad. So for 2 days, I sat there and playing. 2 fucking days. I didn't eat. I don't even think I pissed.
Yeah.
It was insane. And then 2 days later, somebody finally snaps me out of it by knocking on my door. It was my friend Brendan Lauer. And I hear the knock on the slider door, and I'm like, oh, fucking, I put my guitar down. I'm like, I'll be right back. Like, I hate to leave you. Like, oh, I wanted that guitar so bad still after 2 days straight of playing it. And I go open the door, and my friend Brendan's there. He's like, what the fuck's all over your face? And I'm like, what? And I go in the bathroom, and I look in the mirror, and my face is all green, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, I thought it was like from the meth or something. It was like, oh, no, my skin's turning green. And it was from like I was playing my guitar for so long that the bronze on my strings had like gone to my fingers, and I had touched my face.
Wow.
And so I had green shit on my face from my guitar strings, and I was so twacked out, I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Fuck.
But
and I wonder if that gets like. And have you heard any other stories? If people are like that, are they doing sex? Are they doing like?
Man, I think when you're tweaking, you just like. What do you like to do? Like with your hands or anything? Do you like to string beads? Do you like to paint? Do you like to? I mean, besides just like crank one out,
Yeah, and that's over quickly, and then you're just sitting there.
Well, maybe on speed. I don't know. It might take a while.
Oh yeah, huh?
And you have to work for it, and then it's like even better.
Yeah. Well, that's probably like cocaine. Yeah, I think like if I was all sped up, I would just look out the windows, make a lot of promises to myself, look out the windows,
make sure those silhouettes aren't real,
organize things, whatever that the vaguest term ever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna organize things. That was always a term that I would use.
Dude, that's one thing people do too. I was at this crack house one time that was fucking spotless. Yeah. It was insane. And me and my friend went over there just to, we were going to smoke or whatever. And I had this homie that knew he was just like connected somehow with like, he would just go into a new city and all of a sudden he would be like, oh, there's our guy. Like, just how do you know that random man on the bicycle is the guy?
His whole, his guy, yeah. Some people are just, they get that fucking, that drug dog in them.
They're street smart.
Yeah, they're German shepherds.
Yeah, man. And so I had a buddy that was like that. And so I ended up, it was like there was one night I smoked crack with a fully pregnant lady.
Ooh.
And it was like, that's how shitty that stuff is like.
Really?
I mean, dude, crack is the worst fucking thing in the world to me. It's like, it's instantly addictive. Like that first night I did it, like I was telling you when I was 16.
Yeah.
I've always considered myself to have a pretty strong will. And like I was saying, I've been around shit forever. But when I hit crack, I was like, all right, I know this shit's pretty crazy. I'm going to take one hit and that's it.
Ooh.
And then so I took a hit and then it was like, boom. I was like, oh, holy shit. It was like crazy.
What does it feel like? Does it feel like
I felt like I got hit in the head with a frying pan body life orgasm.
Wow.
It was like, bam. And it was like just euphoric. Like all of a sudden I don't know. It was, man, I shouldn't be on here describing it because
and look,
it's going to seem like I'm like, but.
Well, tell us the downside of it.
The downside of it was.
So that people know that. So if anybody right now is trying to U-turn to go get some crack or whatever.
No. Don't do it because oh man. It's like, I was like, I'm just going to take one hit and that's it. And I'm, like I said, I got a strong will. I can do this. I take one hit. That pipe didn't make it around the circle before. I was like, man, I hope there's enough, till I can get another one. Yeah. And I was really nervous. I was like, it was like, man, I hope there's enough. And so then it was like, do I have any more money? It was like, how much money do I got? Could we get some more?
Right. Immediately, without you even thinking.
50 seconds.
Right. So it hijacks your thoughts even.
Immediately. I was ready to sell shit.
Oh.
Just whatever it takes everything. And then the next day I go to school, right? And I got this little rock left over sitting on my desk, and I go to school the next morning and I didn't make it 40 minutes into fucking first hour before I'm sick, Miss Julie. I gotta go home. I signed myself out, went home, smoked that rock because I couldn't fucking stand the thought of it sitting there on my nightstand at home, and I'm sitting in school and I'm going, fuck. I know right at home there's that rock, and I could go
it's
smoke
just
it.
Sitting there, yeah.
It's just
looking for you, wearing a fucking probably see-through bra.
dude. Yeah, it was terrible, and
Yeah.
you know,
God.
so
yeah.
I
couldn't handle it.
I mean,
I couldn't handle it, man. I'll tell you why, Billy, because I remember I would get, even if I got some cocaine, right? I would get some cocaine and then I would go home. It's just me and my cocaine. This is the relationship I'm in at the moment.
that's not good.
It was bad. And I would do a little bit of cocaine and then I would be like, all right, some of my friends would hit me up like, let's go do something. Like, all right. And then I would do some more. And then I would start walking out the door and I'd be like, let me go back in and just make sure I did some. It was like, what is that even? Like, that was a real thought in my head. Like, that's not even a legitimate. Let me make sure I did some. I'm still pulling it out of my nose and I'm like, hey, bro, you should go make sure you did some.
What the fuck, dude? That's not.
So it's
real.
interesting just to even think about how it hijacks our thoughts, man. And if you can't even, because your thoughts come out of nowhere. So it's like, if it gets above those, it's a fucking. It just shows the power of it. So,
Oh man,
I just want to, I think to say that kind of stuff is important. But how'd you get out of it then?
well, like I said, it was never I would do it for a night and I'd be like, okay, never again for at least 6 months or something. Whether it was meth or crack or heroin or whatever, I would do it and then I would be like, okay, it's like I know that I can't do it more than one day in a row. Where speed, if you do it, I would smoke one little bit and I'm good for the weekend. It's like I'd be up for 2 days off a couple hits or whatever.
Wow.
Dude, that shit's really crazy too. Like what you were talking about, looking out the window and seeing silhouettes and shit. There was one time where I went over to Muir to hang, and me and my buddy Jake were like, we tweaked from Thursday to Monday. Wow. And by like the third or fourth day of like being awake and getting no sleep, it was like my friend Jake, who I know well, and I'm sitting right there next to him, but I'm looking at him and it's like, it's not his face on his face. It's like somebody, like some guy named Brandon or something. He looks like a different guy. And I'm like, Jake? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, you're not Jake though. Like, what the fuck? I'm looking right at you. And you start to really get, after being awake for a couple of days, like I remember looking out my window and seeing silhouettes of like people standing by the tree and like behind the car and like stuff. And you think people are watching you and shit. Like paranoia has got to be one of the worst fucking things that can happen.
Yeah, there's a comedian, Shane Moss, and he wanted to do a documentary, I think, and I'm paraphrasing. An amazing comedian, great guy. Go see him if you get a chance. And he was on here once, and he was talking about, he was trying to make a documentary about doing, I want to say it was mushrooms, right? But he got so like deep into it, he started getting paranoid. And he started thinking the documentary crew that he had hired to shoot the documentary of him were like ops. Like they were like government, like he started to go down a real rabbit hole, Billy.
No, that's...
Yeah. And then he started to give clues to the camera so that when whoever watched it would know that he knew, like he was getting deep, bro.
I think there's a level to it because psychedelics is another thing that I've dabbled in. And I think, I think psychedelics is a very positive thing.
Yeah.
I am an advocate for psychedelics. Mm-hmm. I'm not an advocate for meth, crack, Oxycontin, cocaine, any of those things. Little mushrooms, I think it's, take a hit of acid and if you're brave, like a hit of DMT or something. Mm-hmm. But it's not for everybody. I don't think psychedelics are for everyone, but I think it can help a lot of people. I think a lot of people would benefit from eating a mushroom stem and going and sitting down by the riverbank, pitching a tent, making a fire and hanging out with some friends and looking up at the trees and, you know, staring at a bug and realizing, wow, you know, it's like I've hung out with like whenever you're around like the Grateful Dead camp, you know, Bob Weir and Bill Kreutzmann and some of those cats, like for instance, when I was out in Hawaii hanging out with Bill Kreutzmann and those guys, a lot of like the people that are just around, the friend group, they're all like, and I noticed this while I was there, because these people are doctors and, you know, intellects and you know, they're all adults who are still children, but they're not immature. And it's like you see this 45-year-old woman who has many degrees sitting there staring at an ant and being like, wow, you know, almost like a child. And I think it's just a great thing to not lose that. Maybe some people get it without drugs. I know my banjo player, Billy Failing, he might take a hit of weed like every once in a while, but he's pretty, doesn't do anything. And I'm like talking to him about that, like, man, when I take some mushrooms or whatever, I just feel like, you know, I feel like psychedelics can make me feel like one with nature and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, man, well, I get the same thing when I go on a 3-day long hike and sleep on the ground. Because him and his wife go on these outdoor, you know, long hikes and stuff for like weeks at a time, and they sleep on the ground, and they, you know, Grand Canyon or where, you know, out these national parks and shit.
Yeah. It's
And
like being lost, but it's like organized.
you know, go and shit in a hole for a week. You get one with nature pretty quick
Oh, yeah.
without drugs.
Yeah.
But taking some shrooms or acid or something can really get you there a lot quicker. It's like,
Well, shrooms are a connector, I think. And even fungus itself is like a expansatory type of thing, you know? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's that thing that fills in the space, you know? Like, so it's like a caulk almost in a way. So I definitely, I think that mushrooms are great. I've always thought that. Yeah, you can get a little crazy and then your buddy's somebody's doing the Heimlich maneuver on him at a damn Waffle House or something, and the guy's hitting on your friend or something, and he's a kid or whatever. But the biggest problem, I think, is you just run the risk of people not being able to do it in in some sort of control or moderation.
I was just going to say the moderation
That's the key.
with everything.
But we're getting more to the point now. You're seeing, like, I have people that hit me up that say, hey, man, you should work with this therapist. They do like mushroom guided therapy, right? Like, and you see a lot more like ketamine guided therapy,
Yeah.
right? And ayahuasca adventures. Like, you're seeing things where I think people are getting away from the idea of like, I just want to poison myself, like with alcohol, which is a fun poison. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not condemning anybody that drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would be drinking if I didn't go buy cocaine and end up trying to, you know,
Yeah, no.
bite
If
some
I was a
stranger's
responsible
butthole in the
adult, I
distance
would
or
drink
whatever.
too, but I'm not.
Right. I'm
You
just
know,
kidding. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I'm not responsible. So anyway, but yeah, I just think we're seeing like a kind of a stray from that a little bit. This is yours, man.
Yeah,
You
there's
brought this
me
for
later,
me?
man. Yes, sir.
This mine?
I brought you a couple cases of it.
No, really?
Yeah.
Bro, this can is great, man.
It's made by Shorts Brewing Company, which is a place where I celebrated my 21st birthday party, actually, and I used to play gigs there all the time, and they're just my homies from back home. And since I don't drink, you know, we wanted to do a collab anyways, but we made this sparkling, it's like a hop water.
Bro, it's
Little
good.
lime. It is good. I love it.
And it's just that this is the name of it, Thirst Mutilator? Mm-hmm. Wow.
You want to hear a DMT story or two?
Yeah, I'll trade you one, and then we'll get back into your music. Is that
Wait,
okay?
yeah.
Oh, we don't have to get back in anything, but I don't want people to forget that you're a musician. That's the only thing.
Psychonaut, Billy Strings.
Psychonaut. That's what Shane Moss was, a psychonaut.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, let's go down a DMT story, man.
Well, because I feel like, you know, since I'm talking about all the other bad bullshit that I've done, I need to kind of clear my name here and tell you about some of the better stuff that has happened to me because of my experiments.
Amen. Yeah, it's important.
Like when I was living in Traverse City, there's this man, my buddy Seth, he's gone now too. That sucks because he, you know, them fucking opiates, man, got his ass. But he was my buddy who always had whatever. He was like into the EDM scene and shit.
Yeah.
And he would like just have a backpack, which
Yeah.
I got whatever, bro. So he would come over and whatever. One time he had this DMT. He's like, let me get a little bit, you know. So, you know, you know, let me get a little bit. I'll buy some off you, right? So he hooks me up with a little bag, and that bag sat on top of my dresser for fucking, I don't even know, 6 months.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing about psychedelics that I'll say is like, it's not something to play around with.
Yeah.
If you're not in the headspace for it, don't do it. You know, it's like, it's kind of, and I've learned that lesson from psychedelics. It's almost like dipping your toe in the pool or something. And it's like, don't do that. Just, you know, if you want to go swimming or not, do you or don't you?
Right.
Do you want to stay dry or do you want to get wet?
Right.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, and if you're wearing something that can't get wet, then fucking don't. Yeah, then just chill.
Yeah.
Like if your attitude is an attitude that can't get wet right now,
Yeah.
then just stay on the bank. Homie.
Yeah, exactly. But so I was, you know, it took me 6 months to gain up the courage to hit this DMT. And one day I came home from work and there was nobody home. My roommates were gone. I knew they weren't going to be back because they were downstate. And I had the house to myself. The sun was shining.
Oh yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm feeling pretty good today. It's like, I'm happy. The sun's out. Fuck it. Nobody's home. Like, I'm just going to rip this DMT. Let's try it.
Amen.
So I was also ignorant at the time about what it even really was.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what to expect. So I wasn't really scared of it. Now I haven't done it in years, even though it's been so enlightening and helpful. I haven't done it in years because of how intense it is. But at this time I was like 21 or something, just like, man, I'm just going to rip this DMT.
Yeah.
And so I sat on the couch and like took a big hit of this and I was listening to this. It was actually the Oh Brother Where Art Thou soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
I'll Fly Away with Gillian Welch and Emmylou and Alison Krauss and Mike Compton and, you know, all these instruments and stuff. And I hit this and all of a sudden I'm kind of floating and the instruments are surrounding me and it's all this beautiful kind of shit happening. And I start to see this blue light. And I'm like, whoa, what's that? It's like this blue light way up ahead in the distance, and it's getting closer and closer to me. And all of a sudden, it's like, whoa, it's a chick. And I'm like, I can see this lady, and she's swirling and dancing. And she starts murmuring this ancient language that is brand new, something that this language has only been used right now for this particular occasion, but it's ancient, and I understood every word somehow. She's telling me this information as she's spinning and twirling and dancing for me. And she's wearing this skirt, and every time she twirls, her skirt kind of twirls like that. And it's made of like eyeballs, and then she does a 360 and it's made of ears and then teeth and then hair, noses and pupils and just all these different facial features. Her skirt was like made up of like thousands of them. As every time she turned, it would change. And she's getting closer and closer to me. And then she got close enough to me and she kind of like caressed me in a way, like put her arms around me and was like, "Are you good?" I'm like, "I'm good." And then we went, like shot me out of the atmosphere, out of, outer space, like through this placenta where we kind of broke through. And then it was like we were on this beautiful pink mountaintop overlooking this vast everything.
Damn.
And she was kind of standing me on top of the mountain, pointing and looking and showing me everything. These are all the universes. Notice how they're spinning and working together like a gear, like a watch, like a clock, like a movement. Damn. And then she zapped us down.
Super Zillow or something.
It was like all the universes spinning. And then she took me down to our universe and showed me all the galaxies doing that same thing. And then she took me to our galaxy, showed me all of the planets doing it. Then to our planet and showed me the wind and water and currents and then to a grain of sand. It was like a fractal out from everything, and everything is spinning and working together.
Doing the dance.
Yeah, doing the dance. Yeah. What you do affects your neighbor, and basically she told me it was like, you need to be strong in yourself. You need to work on yourself work on your mental health, work on, she didn't say all this shit, but
you caught it from
that's what I got, is like, you need to work on yourself. We're all links in a chain. We're all together. Me and you are the same, bud. And we need to be the strongest links that we can be for everything, for not just humanity, but all of everything, and what that is. To be a strong link, you got to work on yourself and basically just not be a dick, and dive down inside of yourself and figure out what it is. Why are you an asshole?
Yeah.
Or how can you change to be better? How could you be a kinder, better person to your neighbor, to Mother Nature?
To yourself,
especially. That's how you do it.
Right.
That's how you find the strength. Yeah.
Are you struggling with keeping your website up to date and running your business? Now you can binge all the web design and digital marketing you want with Modify. Modify helps you with unlimited web design and redesigns, unlimited website updates, 24/7 support, digital advertising. Plus, you get a designated designer. Consider updating your existing website or getting a new one. Visit modify.com/Theo for 50% off the last website you'll ever need. That's Modify, modiphy.com/Theo for 50% off the last website you'll ever need. Yeah, man, it's fascinating. Yeah, thanks for sharing that experience, man. Yeah, it's just interesting, the relationship that we have with ourselves. It's like we've outsourced our own responsibility a lot of times, it feels like. It's almost like I look entirely at medicine or at other people for my responsibility for me to be okay, right? Which I'm not saying that we don't need other people.
We need help.
And we do need help. We do need therapy. We need communication. And sometimes we need medicine.
Yeah.
But I think that we can fall into a trap, or I know that I have. That's what I should just say. I've fallen into a trap at times where I've completely outsourced, if I'm going to be okay, onto other people and things. Like I haven't, that the relationship that I have with myself is so, it's not even there a lot of times, or it hasn't been, that I'm reliant completely on if other things are going to make me okay. As opposed to I think there was a time, probably a long time ago, maybe, and I may romanticize the past sometimes, but where I felt like people had a bit more agency or something it's called with themselves, where they had more of a relationship with themselves, and they reflected on themselves more and reflected on experiences and behaviors and just just had a little bit more probably say in how they were doing. Or how they were feeling or what was going on with them. Yeah. And I don't even think we've done it on purpose. I just think a lot of it's the way our society has kind of shaped things.
Well, nowadays you just look down at your Fitbit or whatever it's called. Yeah. My heart's beating, everything's good.
Yeah. My buddy has a fat bit. My buddy Bert Kreischer, he looks at it and it just tells him he's fat.
Oh, man.
God, bro, you gotta. Yeah,
we need to get him. We need to get him a mechanical watch.
Yeah, we need
something.
Well, we need to get him a meth addict to take that thing apart first of all.
Yeah, put it back together.
Yeah. So when people were on methamphetamines, if they take that stuff apart, what are they then looking to do with it? Is it? Why do people take that kind of stuff apart? Is it?
I don't know. I think maybe to put it back together better. But what I was saying is whatever you do, if you did speed, I feel like that's what you do. It's people I knew, they would string beads.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm making necklaces, making jewelry. Or they would, draw pictures or write lyrics or poetry or, it's just, it's kind of like whatever you do. If you have a little thing that you like to do,
right.
I feel like that's a great activity. Oh, dude. Okay. Check this out. So there was this place, Barkus Park, where I grew up. And
Barkus, it's for dogs?
Barkus, Barkus Park. Barkus Park in Lyons, Michigan. And so it was a campground. My buddy Brad Lasco owned it. He was my Uncle Brad. He was my dad's best friend. He played the banjo.
Oh, wow.
And he was our Barkus campground. So this place, when I was growing up, dude, yeah, there we are right there. There's little Bradley picking, man.
Nuh-uh.
That's where I grew up, man. That's the vibe. That's my dad right there above him.
No way, bro. That's the damn Google image that's on this park.
Yeah. So
I think this is just y'all's yard, bro.
Dude, that's how I grew up right there, bro. Sitting around that campground picking, just like that. That's my childhood. And
Dude, that's so cool.
It was epic, man. There's Stony Creeks right there. The salmon run every year in the fall. We were like spearing salmon back then.
Yeah, I won't tell anybody.
It was crazy. But this dude, Brad Lasko, owned it. There we go. That's what I was just going to say. They found out. So my childhood there was great. But as I got a little older, 10, 12 years old, all that meth moved in and fucked everything up and everybody up, including Barkus Park. And they, while everybody was tweaking on meth, found out that there was gold in the creek.
No way.
Oh my God. Can you imagine a better activity for meth head than panning for gold?
Nah, I can't at all.
Dude, I mean, it's
I can't at all.
Literally sifting through every grain of sand in the fucking creek to find specks of gold. Like that's... How could you do that and not be a meth head?
Dude, why every meth recovery center isn't currently located along a river or stream in this country, I will never understand. We have got to organize meth users and get this gold.
Yeah, seriously, because we could get some big bucks.
Dude, that's unbelievable, bro. Have you written a song about that?
Not about panning for gold. I wrote one called Dust in the Baggie.
Yes.
That's about Brad Lasko, man.
Is it?
Yeah, he just passed away a couple years ago, too, man. That Me and Dad record, you know, we dedicated it to Brad.
Oh, that's him?
No, that's
this is the video for it.
Well,
for Dust in a Baggie.
That's a video for it.
Okay.
I wouldn't play it. But no, that's a famous video now because of that guy in the background. Barefoot Ben. We were all on mushrooms that night. We were sitting in my buddy, my friend Gina's basement, and we're all picking songs. And there was a big party upstairs, and everybody was drunk, but we were all tripping, so we wanted to go downstairs and be quiet and get away from all the drunks. So we were sitting down there in that basement and picking tunes. And then, Barefoot Ben there, man. He was like the only hippie like in Ionia that, you know what I mean? It was like, I guess there was a couple like skater kids or whatever, but he was like barefoot at every party. He was like wearing tie-dye. He like people call him Barefoot Ben or hippie. And yeah, like I said, he was like the only hippie around. But he was at every party.
He lived it.
He was at every party and he was like, how'd you get here? Like, who do you know here? Yeah. Like, he was just every party he was there. And in this video, he's literally like, we're tripping and I'm just playing these songs and he's smoking an unlit cigarette and he keeps hitting it like it's lit. And like, I don't think he does it. But if you look at the comments on that shit, it's hilarious. Like, they're talking about Ben, like, this dude looks like he's standing there giving out side quests and shit.
Oh, yeah.
No. Shout out, Ben. Hope you're doing good, buddy.
Barefoot Ben, amen, brother.
Yeah.
Man.
Man.
Dude, they just found a huge gold nugget. Can you look that up for me?
Where?
There we go. Biggest gold nugget ever found that weighed as much as a person.
Shit.
Would be worth an insane amount today. The biggest nugget of gold in the world weighed as much as an adult man.
Millions.
John Deason and Richard Otich, the jackpot. Oh, this was in 1869.
Whoa.
So a little bit outdated.
Australia.
When they discovered the monster nugget while digging in Australia. Yeah. Weighing in at 11 stones, 72 kilograms. Still no idea how much that is. I think it's 220 pounds.
11 stone?
It was weighed at a London charter bank, and they were paid just under $10,000 for the massive chunk.
In 1869?
Yeah. What do you think you'd do if you got that thing, brother?
Boy.
If you're on meth, and let's say this, let's go down a road, all right? That doesn't exist, but we have zoning rights in this space.
Oh yeah.
If we find a chunk of gold the size of a man, and people are on meth, do you tell other people you have it, or do you? Like, are meth people can they keep a secret, or is it not a secret area?
That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like some people can, some people can't. You know, I feel. We would just pawn that fucker. It would just go to the pawn shop.
Yeah, I mean, it would go to the closest pawn shop. I would probably give it away for 2 racks, bro.
Yeah, dude. I mean, fucking 2 racks. How many boxes can I get with that?
Right, 100%.
We just got to drive all over Michigan to get them.
It's Sudafed Central. I remember when they started locking up the Sudafed, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to show your ID and shit for it.
I was like, I have a fucking runny nose. That used to be your ID to get Sudafed, and now everything had changed.
Yeah.
And yeah, not condoning drugs, but just sharing experiences. People get that.
It's kind of like, the shit that I've been through and the stuff that I've seen and all that is the reason that I can do what I do today. I kind of got it out of my system in a way.
Wow.
But I don't want to go back.
Right.
That's the thing. I don't want to go back to,
Why?
because it sucks. It's a miserable life. I mean, who wants to be sitting in a tweaker pad with no food and I mean, it might feel good for a couple hours, but real quick it gets real bad, and man, it ruins people's lives. It ruins families.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Look, that's it. Look, that's just what I want. You said it better than I could have thought of a way to say it. That's the truth. There's a message you did. This was almost a decade ago. I think we were looking online. Obviously, we were looking up things about you online, and we found this post that you put up. This is like almost 11 years ago now.
Yeah, I remember that day. It was because, man, I was working at this.
You were in Acme, Michigan. I'm just going to read it. Is that okay, Billy?
Yeah.
It says, I put in my 2 weeks notice today at work. I decided to pursue music as a career. Maybe I'm going out on a limb by doing this, but I don't care. I am ambitious and passionate enough to try it. Working 8 hours and then gigging all the time is physically and mentally stressful and leaves me no time at all for creative output. I'm going to work very hard, practice, and write music every day. Besides, there has been nights that I've made more money in 1 hour playing music than I make in 2 weeks at work. I want to thank all of you for the support. Without you, I would not be able to make this decision. Cheers.
Yeah, man.
That's cool, man. It's just a cool thing to put into the universe. What was that feeling like? So at that point, I guess you decided what you wanted to do.
That was at a point where I was working at this hotel, the Grand Traverse Resort, and I just, I was partying and I was working and I was playing lots of gigs, and the gigs were starting to, I was like saving up money for guitars and stuff, and I had this little pile of money in my top dresser drawer.
Yeah.
So I could finally get this guitar that was worth like $2,500 that I always wanted, and
yes,
and I was realizing as I'm saving up money, I was going, well, I used to just live off the hotel check. I used to not have the gigs, which what I made from the hotel was like, I don't know, like $800 every fucking 2 weeks or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it was enough to like pay my rent and get gas back and forth to work and shit.
Stay alive.
Yeah, but then I started playing gigs too, and I would be out playing a gig until, I'd play a gig until 11 or so, but then there'd be a party afterwards. So afterwards I'd go to the party and I'd be up till 5 a.m, and then I'd get an hour and a half of sleep, and then I'd go into work hungover, and then work all day and hate it, and then go back and then 6 o'clock would come around and I'd be back on stage somewhere.
Yeah.
And I was burning the candle at both ends, and I could just feel it closing in on me. It's like, well, you got to choose one or the other. And it was like, well, like I said, I used to make only like $800 at work. Now I'm making $1,200 from music. I don't need both. I mean, it was nice to have both the check and the music, but I used to just live off this and was fine.
Yeah.
So, okay, fuck the job. I'm just going to live off the music.
Yeah.
And basically have the same amount of bread or whatever. So I just started putting all my energy into it. And
what did that look like when you say putting all your energy into it? Because I think that's kind of interesting to think about, Like, is it just, well, for one, you made it your focus point. You kind of told the universe, hey, this is going to be what I'm going to do. You put that out there. So that's interesting because I think the universe does listen to us. I don't think we talk to it enough, but I think it listens to us.
yeah.
But then what started happening there musically?
Well, I was already playing gigs. Like we had like a weekly gig at this place called Little Bohemia in Traverse City, and we were playing like shorts and like all these different places. Like we'd play breweries, coffee houses, stuff like that for tips and for whatever, And I was like a weekend warrior and just a working musician. I'd play at the steakhouse. I'd play at the fucking brewery, whatever. But it just, once I kind of got the job out of there, then it was like, okay. And what I meant in that post is like, I'm not fucking around. Like, I'm going to practice. I'm going to write songs. I'm going to take this very seriously because of the folks that were out there coming to my little weekly gigs and stuff and making it to where I could pay my rent just with music. I felt like I had a duty to basically give back to those folks that supported me and say, look, if you continue to support me, I'm not fucking around. Like I will really work hard if you guys will still support me, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's what I decided to do, man. And that was like around the time I was like 18. And well, let's see. I'm 31. That was 2010. Anybody good at math?
It's 11 years ago.
So
I think, I don't know, I'm guessing. I'm not good at math.
no, yeah, it's 11 years.
Oh, it is. Good.
So what's
Wow.
that? Was I
20.
21? 20?
20 or 21?
Yeah, so at that point I had already been on tour and shit. I had like, when I was 19, I had been on tour. By the time I was 19, I was playing 200 gigs a year.
Oh my God.
And I did that up until just a couple years ago.
What do you think are the things, I know that you had some viral moments online. What do you think are the things that really like cemented you in with people? Do you think it's a way that you play? Do you think it's, because I think artists start to see, there's some artists are great performers. Some artists they're captivating. They can make a unique sound or do something new or novel. Some you go for the songs and you don't even know anything about the artist or care about the artist at all.
Right.
Does that make any sense to you?
No, that's a really interesting thing that I kind of learned that the first time that I went to the Grammys, because I'm a guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bluegrass musician. I grew up singing around the campfire. There's no computers, there's no auto-tune, there's no backup dancers, and I went to the Grammys and I saw all this shit and I was like, whoa, like the K-pop group like BTS and shit. And I was like, okay, well, none of them are singing. This is all pre-recorded tracks, but they're dancing their fucking asses off. I was like, oh, they're dancers. They're not musicians. They're not a musician like me. Like, I stand there in blue jeans on stage and strum the guitar and sing songs. That's what I do. Lady Gaga can direct an entire fucking orchestra to, she can sing, act, dance. She's a comedian, there's just, some people have the whole umbrella over them. Mm-hmm. I'm just like a musician. And so going to the Grammys and seeing somebody with all the backup dancers doing all the moves and stuff. And I was like I said, I grew up going to bluegrass festivals. I never seen that shit.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, they're not actually singing, but still cool because I guess they're dancers. But, I've always been sort of like a grass hole, that's what you call it. It's like, auto-tune or anything like that. It's like,
oh, I see what you're saying. More the,
it's like, I worked my ass off my whole life to learn how to sing and play. And then there's folks out there that are just
pressing a button
on a computer and they're and singing through auto-tune and shit. And they're selling millions of records. It's like, that's not fucking fair.
Yeah.
But, but it's a different style. It's a different, okay, this person's not a bluegrass musician. They're a dancer or they're a rapper or whatever. That auto-tune sound is a stylistic, it's a part of the sound. Mm-hmm. It's like a banjo is to bluegrass,
Right. They're almost like new orchestra. Yeah. It's like, it used to be this guy was the guy who was like the DJ,
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever gives that guy any credit,
yeah.
For being the first fucking Zed or whatever.
Conductor, yeah.
Yeah, the conductor. Nobody's like, oh, look at that. There's Cascade, They're just like, oh, look at this penguin fucking guy with the two sticks. This guy's obviously
fucking
a pervert.
dork.
Yeah, yeah. But truly, that guy was the Cascade. That guy was
G.
He was the G, man. He was the Chainsmokers, It was just a different time. And then now people use more autotune. They just had an article the other day. It was about like T-Pain. Did you?
I remember hearing him talk about, I don't remember what show it was on or something, but he was talking about how Usher or somebody told him that he ruined music by introducing all that autotune shit. And he said he got really depressed about it.
Oh wow, like the I'm on a boat.
Well, I don't know. I'm on a boat.
Wasn't he? Didn't he make that song now?
I think so. But either way, I feel like that was his sound, was the real auto-tune stuff. And I think somebody who he really looked up to told him that he was Usher told him that he ruined music.
That Usher telling him he ruined music led to a 4-year depression.
But
wow.
I guess, and then you see T-Pain coming out singing these Chris Stapleton songs and shit, and it's like, this motherfucker can sing.
Yeah. It's like if anybody was using, he was the last person that should have been pressing the button.
Right. But I mean, that's what I'm saying is like, it's a stylistic choice. It's like, it's not like the guy can't fucking sing.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're saying that, yes, sometimes in the instance, it's an instance of somebody just trying something new, trying a different style, seeing what else is going on, as opposed to somebody just not having a certain skill set.
Like, check this out, man. Like Post Malone, for instance, like that's my dog. And he, you know, he uses a lot of auto-tune on his like rap music and whatever music. How do you even classify his music? It's just like posty music.
Well, he's a concierge of joy, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I've only hung out with him once, but he is a concierge.
He's the fucking best dude ever.
He's a concierge of sheer joy.
The first time I really met him.
He's a fucking Care Bear.
I love him.
Yeah.
But the first time I met him, he invited me over to his place or whatever, and we fucking sat there and sang Johnny Cash, Hank Williams, he knows more old country songs than I do, I think. And he can play them on guitar and sing them like a fucking angel. And it's like, I'm sitting in a room with him watching this, like, okay, like, dude's talented. Like, I'm fucking impressed. He knows the words to more Hank Williams songs than me. I'm like, holy shit. I mean, it's like the same thing with like Luke Combs. When I was in a room with him for the first time and he opened his mouth and started singing, I'm just like, wow, okay, great voice, man.
Yeah.
You know, like motherfucker can sing, write. And I'm just like honored to be around any of these guys. I mean, and especially more than even those cats who are big celebrities. I'm the Jack Pearsons and more of the guys who are in my scene, the Bela Flecks, the Brian Suttons, the, you know, Stuart Duncans, the Jerry Douglases, when I like go to the Grammys or something like that, those are the cats that I love seeing the big celebrity and stuff, but I'm looking past them and seeing who's in the band.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that bass player who's backing up Justin Bieber right now. Justin Bieber's drummer. Holy fuck, who's that guy?
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm looking at is like the cats.
Yeah.
You know?
The Cats.
Yeah.
Dude, what a that would be so neat if they had Billy Strings and the Cats and it was just a tour that you did. Sorry, I know I hate when people give me ideas for shit, but I'm gonna be that guy.
I'm all ears, brother.
And you just featured like, yeah, because it's so the spinning wheel of luck and fortune sometimes that some voices get heard louder than others, you know. And then some people don't want to be the center of attention also as well,
Man,
you know.
I still have a hard time with success. I grew up
the opposite of
I
it.
grew up poor. I grew up, you know, going to stay the night at friends' houses just so I could have some dinner.
Yeah.
You know, like I grew up fucking sleeping in my winter coat.
Yeah.
You know, with a pit bull that had fleas because she was warm. You know, and
Yeah.
waking up in the middle of the night and fucking you can see your breath in your bedroom and shit. So I have a hard time with success because all my people are still living that. You know, back home. I have people that are still going to prison, still addicted, still dying from ODs, you know. And I'm sitting over here shitting on a heated toilet at the Sunset Marquee, and it's like, well, why me? I have survivor's guilt.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I mean? And
wow, yeah, that's interesting, man.
it's like, so I've talked to my therapist about this a bunch, you know, and I'm going, okay, well, I go stand on stage and play guitar. Now, granted, I've played guitar since I was 4 years old, and I've worked very hard at it, you know. I mean, this is 25 years of fucking playing every day, you know, trying to get better and really wanting to be a musician since I was in kindergarten, you know, like since I was a baby. But still, when I'm at my house and we like are doing some renovations or something and I see some like Mexican dude out working on laying the asphalt or something, and I'm going, he's out in the hot sun. And I'm going, this is cockeyed as fuck. He's out there doing actual hard fucking work in the sun. And I play guitar and like, he's the one making my driveway. This is fucked.
Yeah.
And I really feel like shit sometimes about like, this is, what the fuck happened? You know, like why is the guy who is doing harder work being paid shit?
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, I told this to my therapist and she's like, I understand, you know, but she also said, she told me about this pyramid of competence. Mm-hmm. It's like, as a musician goes, well, how many guitar players do you know? How many do you know that can play and sing at the same time? How many do you know that play, sing at the same time, and write their own songs? How many do you know that play, sing at the same time, write their own songs, and have good business sense? How many do you know that play, sing, write their own songs, have good business sense, and are willing to tour 200 days or more a year? It starts getting narrowed down. And I'm just the crazy motherfucker that will die for this shit. I'll never go back to where I was. I play for my life. Like, it's not a job. It's not this is my fucking survival, you know? And it's literally everything to me. So.
Or I think even going back to the fact that when you were high on a drug, you reached for your guitar.
I've always reached for my guitar.
I know that, but it was saying it's a survive. Like I'm just thinking of that. I'm not trying to like link the shit. Maybe
no, it's just my guitar's
crazy.
Always been my best friend and
Right.
my coping mechanism through everything.
Right. And here's what's crazy though, Billy, is people are gonna all have to do jobs. I remember working at a pizza place, and I would listen to the second the boss would leave, I would turn up fucking Guns N' Roses, and I would fucking.
Hell right.
Oh, dude, I would fucking cry in there, listen to November Rain, and fucking threaten other people that worked at the place. and I would drink beer back there. I would open up the deep fryers, dude, and I would put pudding in there. I'd put pepper. I'd put anything you could. I would fucking fry it and eat it and drink beer. But what I'm saying is, sometimes that person is listening to your music, and it's what's making the shift a little bit shorter. It's what's keeping their. So it's like we all, I think, are part of some process where it's like, you know, I remember working on a farm for a couple summers and having to do 14-hour days, and
oh my god.
But I would listen to
baling
things.
hay, or what were you doing?
No, I was running fertilizer, just help cleaning like the frogs on the planters. Like, they let me plant after a while. I broke some shit. I probably still need to
hard work, man.
gotta resent or get ask for an amends. But yeah, but I just did whatever needed to be done. But I remember this. I would park that tractor sometimes. I would just park it because I'd be in like 300 acres. There'd be nobody around. I'd park that tractor. I'd stand out on the fucking hood of that thing, and I would play like I would play just the top 10 country. It didn't get that. They even had an old radio in there. Couldn't even see, but you knew when you hit the channel.
Yeah.
And I would just sing the fucking songs. It was like the one moment I had during the day that made me feel good, or not that made me feel good, but that just fucking
let it all out.
right.
kinda
And
like.
somebody who had probably played those songs had maybe done a job that I'd done. Wow. I remember I worked at a pipe fitter's place over there in New Orleans, over in Destrehan or something, and we would play that song, I Just Wanna Fly. Remember that song?
Mm-hmm.
Put you on. And it was just kind of a groove. It was one of those songs that hung around for so long in the ether. They kind of overplayed it and shit for sure. And they started playing it at CVS, and people wanted to kill themselves and shit. But but for the younger guys who were like the guys who would just go sit out in the sun, and we would paint the glue onto the pipe so they could fit the rubber in there so that the hold wouldn't like crack the pipe and stuff. Whenever that song came on, we had to go in and dance for the guys who've been working there for a long time, these welders, dude, and they fucking hated it. But we'd go in, and it was this one fun moment we had during the day that was just ours. Nobody knew about it in the universe. And the first day, none of them would even look up from their like welding and shit. But by the third day, they were like, these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, it was almost like us hazing ourselves in order to be accepted by the other group.
Oh, that's great.
But I think it's just because of music. We wouldn't, if that song never comes on, and it's just, we never would have done it. You know, it's just like there's certain things that it does help. So I see what you're saying, man. There's times I'll like get off stage and I'm walking past like the people, the employees that are help cleaning up the stands.
Yeah.
And I'm
No,
like,
I feel bad for everybody, dude. Always.
is it that you, and I want to think about this with you right now, man, do you think it's that you feel bad, or do you feel?
Well, I just feel like why should I have it better than anybody else ever for anything?
Right.
Why should there be anybody out there who's struggling, who's sad, who doesn't have a roof over their heads, and I do? You
Yeah.
know? It's just like we're all the same, you know? I'm not better than anybody else.
Right. I think it's that you got chosen to be some semblance of, and we all get chosen at certain moments, I think, to be some semblance of hope. That's what I think. Because that's the thing. I hear your story, man. I think about, like, it reminds me of certain things in my own life. It reminds me of people that I know. And then when I hear your music, I'm like, man, this makes me believe that something could be different for me, that something could be different for my son, for my daughter, for an in-law. It gives me hope. And so, but I think it is hard to accept that you're going to be a beacon of hope in some way. But I think we're all beacons of hope at different moments for each other. You know, like I'll have some people call into the podcast sometime and tell me, a guy called in the other day and he said that, he's like, hey man, a few years ago I called in and I was going through a divorce and I was heartbroken. He goes, and I just want to call today. It's 3 years later and my new wife and I are expecting our firstborn child. And it just like
turned around for him.
And in that moment, dude, that guy was my fucking hero. That guy was my Tom Brady when I listened to that.
Totally, man.
It was like, so I think there's all like, I don't know. Am I sounding too preachy, man?
No.
Yeah, I just think that, I think that like you just never, we're all just taking turns. I think we're all just taking turns. And you worked so hard at the fucking music. You know, you worked hard at it.
Yeah, and it's the best reward that I could ever receive is somebody saying, hey man, your song helped me through a tough time or something. And I've got that a bunch, and it's just the best thing ever. Better than any accolade, better than any, you know, anything like that. It's just the fact that, you know, and my songs some of them have helped me. I've written songs that, like, I wrote the song and I thought I was writing it for other people to hear and that I feel like what they need. Then I sing it for a couple months on stage, and one night on stage I'm singing the words and I'm going, oh my God, I wrote this for me. Like, I'm the one that needs to hear this message.
Wow.
You know? It's just like, holy shit.
That's crazy. Yeah, I think we're all like instruments of a higher power, you know? And we just don't know how we're being used. It's funny, man. I'll get home and I'll be tired or whatever. I mean, everybody's fucking tired and shit. But I'll go to the airport now, and sometimes at the airport you still see somebody waiting for their kid to come home from the military, or waiting for a boyfriend or girlfriend, or you'll see a guy out there with flowers waiting to see his wife. And that guy or person or family is they are my damn Frederick Douglass. You know, like they're my, whatever they, you know, I don't even know their name. And they are like my Mozart for the month. Just seeing that there's like pieces of excitement and hope, you know? Anyway, but what do you think? Do you think there's like a illness in America or in our culture that, because we go through a lot of cities and towns and it's like you start to feel like there's an energy missing from the culture. Do you feel that at all? Or do you think that's just...
I don't know what it is, man. I mean, I don't know shit.
Yeah, me neither.
None of us do. We can just sit here and bullshit about it. But I don't know. I feel like people are just cruel to each other, you know? But it's also not in real life. Like, online they are.
Oh, yeah, online is crazy, man.
But I'm just saying, like, at the height of the... you know, political tensions and stuff like that, like a couple years ago with Trump and everything, it's like you just go online and you see everybody just, you know, talking shit to each other. But then you look up from your phone and you're in the airport and nobody's doing that. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Like, are you guys actually enemies, or are you guys just doing this online? Because you're all here in the same airport and nobody's saying shit. So what the fuck? You know, it's like, I feel like the internet just spews and breeds like hatred like that. You know? Okay, not the internet, maybe like social media or whatever. But I just feel like it's great for some things and it's not so good for other things. You know, I wouldn't say something maybe to your face that I would say online or whatever, you know? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think there's things you can comment like, that it's easier online.
But is it different to hear? Let's say I wouldn't stare you in the eyes and say, you're a fucking piece of shit, you know?
Yeah.
But if I said that online and you receive it, is it any different than me actually saying it to you?
Wow, it's interesting.
Because when you read it, you're still, okay, this person thinks I'm a piece of shit. What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I think it's definitely not good. I'm amazed that we allow it to happen to our culture, or that we allow, you would think there would be a governing entity, and maybe I don't understand government sometimes or something, that would say, hey, this isn't good for us. We'll allow it during, maybe you allow it during certain hours of the day. You know what I'm saying? Or it's the same like with the opiates. It's like, hey, a company that is fucking killing people, that has people selling their grandmothers in like 3rd generation egg beater to cop a pill. Hey, you're not good for us. It would just think like.
They're good for the economy, man.
Right. But it's like, at what point does that even have any, because people are sick. I don't even think we're sick on the outside. I feel like our souls are sick, and we're out here having to like take care of them.
That's why people need to listen to more bluegrass.
There we go. That's probably the truth too.
It really is, man.
Well, look, the power of music, man. The power of music. Dude, if I had to work all day and listen to no music, I mean, when in slave times they sang, they made beautiful fucking music to get them through.
Yeah, on the prison lines too. Them guys out there hammering away and shit. Them songs, man.
Oh yeah, I saw this. This is pretty captivating. A dying mom blown away after she creates final song for her son, and it makes the Billboard charts. This is really cool. This is Kat Janis, I think. Yeah, 31-year-old Kat Janis noticed a lump on her neck in 2021 that doctors diagnosed as sarcoma, a rare type of tumor that collects within the bone and tissue, and is also, no joke, I went to school with a girl named Sarcoma Jackson growing up at fucking William Pitcher Junior High School. Move on, though. What else did it say about her on that article? Kat was declared cancer-free after undergoing treatment, but the cancer sadly returned in June 2023, this time in her lungs. One of the ways in which Kat coped with diagnosis is through music. In a video she valiantly shared to social media after finding out about her most recent diagnosis, she said, I'm going to go back into treatment. I'm going to be really strong about it. The mother posted an update to her health back in January to her followers, January 10th, 2024. The tumor has basically tripled overnight. Oh, she's in hospice now. She said she told the publication that she signed her entire discography over to her son and added she wanted to release one final track. And this is the track, I guess, that's been blowing up.
Wow.
It's cool, man.
I'll have to check it out.
Actually, you can probably play a little bit of it. You might be able to put these on. Throw these on for a second. Just want to hear this Kat Janis. Let's go, Kat Janis, baby. I like it, bro.
I do.
That's exciting, man. And what a neat thing just to be able to have it. I can't believe it's interesting. I think that shows you people want to like support things that make them feel something. People know she's making that song. She has a son. They think about it. I can't imagine you're in hospice and that happens. It's gotta just keep you.
Well, it's like what I was talking about earlier. How the music was like rock and roll, and then the hippies wanted acoustic music, and then it got back into like some heavy stuff in the 70s, and then disco happened.
Yeah.
And then eventually people were like, okay, enough of disco, and then grunge. And then, like 90s.
Yesterdays.
Yeah. And then now it's been kind of like electronic music, and hip hop has been sort of like reigning supreme. And I think people are just, they like to hear a guy strumming a guitar again, or playing drums, or sitting there playing an instrument and singing. I don't know.
We want something real.
Yeah.
I want something real. I think that's, I want to fucking see something that means something to somebody. I don't want something that feels like it's, I don't know.
Contrived for
Yeah.
mass,
Yes. I think part of me is tired of feeling tricked
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like,
and addicted to the tricks.
well, when you take away all the stuff that, I mean, I want to use all of the technology I can to make music, at least that my peers are. It seems like every time we get into a studio with a producer or something, because we're a bluegrass band, they go, oh man, we're going to record you straight to tape and it's going to, super old school like it's the 50s or something. And I'm going, well, fuck, man. All my peers are using auto-tune and shit. This ain't fair. Like,
Right. So it's like we kind of want one thing, but then we want to use the things that can help us.
yeah, for sure. So I'm just like, what do you do? But when you kind of take all that stuff away and just hear a song that's just like a guy strumming a guitar and singing something that means something, I think it's just, I don't know, it's more pure or something.
Yeah, pull up that one where you and Posty were doing that. Yeah, and why he's not our ambassador to United Nations or whatever
I know, he's literally the kindest guy I've
is
ever.
unbelievable. The Vietnamese love him. Everybody loves this guy.
He had a cig and he was like, can I put it out? Like, I don't know, he's just the nicest guy ever.
Can we listen a little bit? Can you just play it for us if we put these back on? Yeah, I want to hear a little bit of this, man. Dude, that's cool, man. It just looks fun.
Yeah, he just hit me up and was like, man, come out. And then when we were just hanging, I was like, you want to come sing one? He's like, fuck yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
So I was like, let's do that Johnny Cash song we did at your house.
How fun is it when a special guest gets on a concert? Is it really just...
It can be fun. It just depends,
Yeah.
This was really fun. See, he asked me if he could drop his cigarette on my stage. What a gentleman.
I respect that. It's like when you're a comedy and somebody puts their feet up on the stage in the front.
Dude, where the fuck did that shirt go?
God, yeah.
I lost that shirt. I don't know where the fuck it went.
Underneath her head. Grab that gun. There you go, Billy. Boy, that's so cool, man. Mexico. That's awesome, man. That's good. Dude, that's the thing. It's like, I think one reason people love musicians, it's just, you can make something that makes people feel good pretty quick. You're like a drug. You're a drug. It's a damn drug, dude.
When I was getting my wisdom tooth pulled out, I was all, I don't know if, no, I wasn't nitrous. I think they knocked me out, and when I came back to, I was all kind of loopy or something. But either way, I was like getting super sentimental and like emotional about, there was this woman, this endodontist or whatever, and I was like, oh my God, you have literally, for one thing, I fucking hated school. You went to more school so that you could help people. That is so noble.
Yeah.
You literally went to more school, which is like the worst fucking shit in the world, just so that you could help people in their life and help people with their face and their teeth. Like, oh my God, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, look, that's true, dude. Yeah, sometimes our perspective, I just got to have a good perspective.
It's like, thank you for, you put in the work, a doctor or something like that. A musician too, a chef. Fuck.
Yeah.
This motherfucker spent all this time learning how to brew this beer that tastes so good now or whatever. It's like, thank you.
Yeah, I wouldn't think of a chef as somebody making beer immediately, but I respect it.
Well, no, a brewer, a chef, an artist,
brewer. Yes.
a fucking,
like if you're going to like a 5-star restaurant,
man, you made this beer, and the steak's good too, man. God damn.
Yeah, I like a medium pale ale.
Yeah, medium rare for me. Keep mine a little bloody. But no, it's like,
No, you're right, man. Respecting the artistry that people put into things.
Yeah.
And even as a thing like a chef, I think there, you know, because some chefs, they love being chefs, man. I talked to my buddy Brad last night. He's a chef in Nashville. He loves being a chef.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about it. He's just excited about it. And yeah, I think
find that thing you love, man.
respecting the artistry of things.
Respect for the craft, yeah.
Yeah.
My buddy Corey Wong was telling me that he was on tour somewhere over in, I don't know, but they met this cheesemaker, this fucking guy who was all about cheese.
Oh, yeah.
And so they were trying all these different cheeses and shit. And at the end of it, they were like, okay, well, we want to take something to go. And they were like trying to figure out how to package it. And Corey's like, well, we can just all put it in one bag. And the cheesemaker was like, nah, like respect for the craft, dog. We ain't mixing up the cheeses.
Yeah.
They all go in their own container.
Yeah, Gorgonzola, first of all, has been in solitary confinement for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So we're not, it's, yeah.
I mean, he's not allowed to be around the other inmates
Yeah,
already.
Yeah, so, yeah, no, it's a good point. Respecting the craft of things. Well, and I think that goes back to some things in our society, bro. And I talk about this kind of stuff a lot because I think I'm wondering why there's so much addiction and stuff in the world and why people are sick or what is sick inside of us. And I think one thing that people need to have is purpose. And I think people used to feel more purpose when they had like, you knew who the guy in your town was that was like owned the wood shop and was the woodworker, or, you know, or you knew who was the cheesemaker who made the best pastries.
When life was like Mayberry.
When it was just a little bit more like unindustrial, like mass, where everything wasn't a Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, and it's not exactly.
Because then it was like, I got to go, the baker, dude, I can learn from the baker. And the baker felt value in the town because he can share information. And it came from his grandparents. And so then your grandparents had value and there was lineage. And like, I think that things like that were important. And now you go through a lot of cities and towns in America, and there's not a lot of that.
I think that's, not to just tie everything to bluegrass music, but I think that's part of the reason why people love bluegrass music is it's almost a tap back into that world before all of the industrialization. Like when people were sitting on their porch picking and you knew the neighbor and they came down for dinner and Floyd cut everybody's hair and Andy Griffith was the sheriff. And, it was like simpler times, really.
Yeah. Dude, our bus driver gave everybody same cut, dude. R.I.P. Ray, I don't know what his name was. Deceased Ray, I guess they call him now or whatever, but he was our bus driver and also had the barbershop in town. And it was like the red and white barber pole and everybody went
classic.
in there. Yeah, and you'd wait. You have to go if you didn't get there early. It was like $3.25 or something. But on the bus days, once a month he would cut on the bus. And so he would cut everybody's hair. It was like $2, bro. Everybody got same haircut, man, woman, Down syndrome, whatever you had, everybody got the same exact cut on that bitch. Dude, we all had the same cut in town, bro. You knew, yeah. So it's kind of, those are the echelons. If you went and got it cut actually at the shop or if you got one of those bus cuts, dude.
Nice.
Ray would just rattle people off, bro.
Yeah, got the old bus cut.
Yeah, it was a different time.
Rattling Ray.
Dude, you've gotten to do so much with music, man. I think what I was asking about was sitting there with your parents was just that energy when you're sitting there waiting to get called. That's almost the most exciting thing, whether you win or not. It's just that's the coolest, is just being in that moment where there's possibility.
Well, there is possibility. I mean, today's the day. You can wake up and decide that today is the day that I'm going to just, it's not all going to happen overnight, but it's like we can start chipping away at it. We can start doing whatever it is to be better or work harder or whatever it is that you feel like you need to do. I like to set goals for myself, write them down,
Really?
just like, what do I want to do? Like I have this little journal where it's just like, what do I want? What do I want in life? Like I want happiness, I guess, or also like goals for myself. Like what, I want to I smoke like mad amounts of weed.
Mm-hmm.
Like to the point where it's like, okay, I should probably at least cut back. Like, I mean, just for the,
Oh, is this you smoking weed?
that's a big old joint.
That's a real joint?
Yeah, that's
Oh my God, bro. That is
That's just like Tuesday morning.
bro, that's a prosthetic limb.
Yeah.
Oh my God, bro. You're smoking out of somebody's that's like a 4-year-old's tibia. That thing is a fucking, bro. That thing should have an ankle on the end of it.
Hell yeah, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Hold it up like Simba. But no, it's like, I'm trying to like just eat little edibles and just vape more and stuff because one of my doctors told me, he just gave me this list of things like to survive, and it was just like, just don't eat sugar, like don't smoke anything ever, like, have a lot of sex, like get exercise, go fishing. That's all good stuff for you to, I don't know. It almost seems like it would be like self-explanatory or something. Just like, okay, like do things that make me happy and don't eat and ingest things that are bad for me. It's like, but how hard is that to do? To like go out, like I eat a lot of sugar, like candy, and
It's good.
I love fucking Coca-Cola, dude, on ice. Oh my God. So fucking good. And then you're drinking it and you're just thinking, man, I'm just drinking like sugar right now.
Yeah, I'm just drinking pure misery for my body.
My doctor told me any white powders are bad, pretty much.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Even flour, they say, is not that good for you.
Yeah, that's one of them that he said.
I like flour, I guess. I don't even know. You don't even see it anymore. I feel like you used to always see flour when I was a
Fucking
kid.
Martha White, self-rising flour.
God, my mother would
God
get that
bless
fucking
him.
flour out and then she would beat us.
Yes. And then the way it just clouds everywhere when.
Oh, yeah, during a beating?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh,
It's fucking great.
nothing like it. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
baby powder doesn't have the same effect.
Yeah, you can't hide a child beating behind some, you need
That real Martha
That's
White self-rising
self-rising.
flour.
yeah.
Yeah. My grandma used to try to beat me with these, she used to try to, it was funny because it didn't hurt, but it was like those little thin little balsa wood things you stir paint with.
Oh, yeah.
And me and my brother, we used to pretend like it really hurt just to not hurt grandma's feelings. She'd be like, all right, I'm going to give you a beating. And she'd hit us and we'd be all, ow, ow. And then we'd walk around the corner and he'd be like, did that hurt? I'd be like, no.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt. We literally pretended like it hurt just to not hurt her feelings.
Yeah. That's interesting, man. That's just empathy at a young level. Yeah, we used to do that with my dad. My dad was so old, and my mom would make him go beat us or spank us or whatever. And we would just be like screaming, even though it didn't hurt. He was like 80 years old, hitting us with his belt.
They can't do that anymore, can you?
I think if you don't,
I don't have kids, but like I feel like
if your kid doesn't have social media, you can. I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I mean, there's a difference between reprimanding your child, but it's just crazy. It's like, I don't know.
I don't know. I got spankings when I was younger. I mean,
yeah.
But it wasn't long after that I just kind of had no rules, And,
Yeah.
But when I was young, I got a couple lickings. It wasn't anything terrible. It was, I think it made me a better person, I mean, it was like, I don't know. I guess there's a line that's drawn. I was never abused physically, but I had a couple good lickings.
Yeah.
And them old timers I heard stories from, it was like, oh man, they used to do that in school.
I had it happen to me in school.
Did you? They would whip you?
Bill Brady, I think was his name, and he might have changed his name because he whooped a lot of kids in our town. But but I'll say this, man. I saw him not too long ago. A friend of mine
What
passed
now,
away.
motherfucker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A friend of mine passed away. No. And honestly, he was the coolest fucking
Try to whoop
dude.
me now, bro.
He was the coolest dude, bro. And I totally was like, this dude, I'd give the dude $11 to freaking beat me now for no reason.
Yeah,
bro.
just for fun.
Yeah, just to have it. Yeah. Bro, he was the coolest guy, bro. A friend of mine, passed. My friend Will passed from addiction, man. And that's where I saw him was at his funeral.
Oh, damn.
And
He whooped you and Will probably, huh?
He probably, yeah. I mean, I'm sure I deserved it.
Yeah.
I know. I should still roll over and just let him beat me for a half hour.
Sounds like you kind of want him to do that.
Yeah, I mean, look.
It's kind of like some deep-seated shit.
Yeah, look, dude. After you get older, it's hard to find things that really make you feel something. You
I know.
So,
You got to go back to that childhood shit that really, it's like,
really gasses you up.
yeah, but then you're like, whoa, this is kind of fucked up. Like, why would I like this?
Yeah.
Huh. Start thinking about yourself.
Yeah, thinking about yourself. And sometimes it's a trap thinking about yourself too much.
Just let it happen, right?
What else do we want to talk about? Anything else? We got your water. I know I wanted to say that. This is good, man.
Yeah.
And are they all seltzer or not?
Yeah. Yeah, there's none of them have like booze in them or anything. This is the only flavor. We're actually doing a grape one next. Like grape drink. Mm-hmm. It's good. And then
oh, that reminds me, Mattress Mac just came out. He was sipping lean. You know who that is? He bet on the Houston Astros to win the World Series, and if they won, then like every mixed couple got a mattress or whatever in Houston.
That's him?
That's him right there.
Damn. He looks hard as fuck.
He's G'd out.
Dude, he's sipping. No way.
Yeah.
With the Jolly Ranchers?
Did you get chopped and screwed by a competitor who said they were going to hook it up, then went ghost when it was time for your delivery? Here at Gallery Furniture, you know, we stay knocking on doors like Pepsi and Little Kiki, and you know when you come from Gallery Furniture, in 4 hours or less, our delivery team is going to show up. We don't do it for the
Gang.
Dude.
what Gallery Furniture we are all about. We can't leave you riding dirty on that hand-me-down sofa. We need you to shine so clean.
Gang, bro.
Dude. That's
good,
my
man.
boy.
That's where it's at now. I think it's like, hey, you want to pull up, cop this ottoman, you know, you want to pull up, you know, and we'll serve you, you know, we'll break you off with this lazy boy.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Yeah.
It's just
Hey, speaking of gang, what's the Rat King thing?
the Rat King.
Do you know what a Rat King is?
I've heard about this before. It's a group of rats.
It's like a group of rats that are all, their tails are all tangled up. It's the most fucked up thing ever.
This guy, my friend said I look like this guy from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a Rat King. And so it's just a dude who's not doing well, who has a couple of rats with him. Okay, so
All right. I get it now. So you kind of are like the ringleader of the rats and shit.
I'm just a fucking guy who's just trying to get a little bit of cheese, man, and make it through.
That Monterey Jack?
Oh yeah, I'm trying to not Monterey Jack off anymore either, dude. I'm trying to lay off the old hand, the old body spout. You know?
Are you doing the retention thing?
No, I'm not doing that and just saving it up for somebody unless they're gonna pay for it or something. You know?
I know.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Any like artist collabs you've done? You've done some amazing ones so far, man. You're a Grammy winner. You got to sit there with your parents and go to the red carpet and go to the Grammys. Take them from Michigan over there. That's so fascinating.
Yeah, they came from Ionia down there to the
Were
Grammys.
they just fascinated?
Yeah, I mean, they're just proud of me and I'm proud of them and we're all just like really happy, you know, and my brother's got 2 young kids, my niece and nephew, Jimmy and Bill, and they're just like really awesome. And I don't know, my family is just doing so good these days, and that's all I've ever wanted, you know. It's like we've had some rough patches as every family does and stuff,
Yeah.
but man, we've kind of, I don't know, everybody's just doing pretty good these days, and it just makes me so happy because that's what I've always really wanted, is just for everybody to be okay, you know.
Yeah.
And
I think a lot of people can relate to that, man.
Hell
you know?
yeah.
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
yeah, it was cool bringing them out there, and my dad's, that's as far west as he's ever gone. He's only been on an airplane twice.
Wow.
He's a 55. He's born in 1955. Only been on an airplane 2 times, and this was in the last like year.
Wow. First time to LA.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a crazy experience. That's such a ride.
yeah.
And to get to be at the Grammys and see all those other musicians and stuff.
And for my mom too, like I remember growing up, she would watch like the E channel and stuff, and she's like into the fashion. She's into all that shit. Like she used to watch like the red carpet shit. So it was cool to be able to bring her and for her to see all them crazy outfits and shit like that. You know, she's all into that shit. So it was kind of neat. But I just love my dad's, like that one guy was like, "Who are you wearing?" And he's like, "I got Levi's." He's like, "My son bought me this shirt and this came from, I got it at a Western store." He's just like, it's so, you know, it's not no Gucci or nothing. It's just,
no, it's perfect, dude.
got it at a Western store.
Yeah. What music are you listening to right now, Billy? People ask you all the time.
Let's
Anybody's
see.
popping
Let's just
in your
see
head?
if I pull up my Spotify. What?
Yeah, what pops up?
Let's see. I'll go on repeat. Okay, I'm just gonna read them down.
Yeah.
On repeat. Number 1, The Grudge, Tool. That's only on there because I had to learn that because I sat in with Tool and I had to listen to that song about 300 fucking times that day. Paris, Suicide Boys, number 2.
Suicide Boys?
Yep.
No way, bro. They're gonna come on in April.
Are they?
Yeah, bro. I just
Fuck
texted
yeah.
Ruby and Scrim last night.
That's crazy.
Dude, that's crazy. You said them, dude.
Oh my God, I fuck with them hard.
Bro,
Okay,
they're
now check this out. We got Tool, we got Suicide Boys, directly to James King, the old swinging bridge. Oh yeah.
God.
And then we got Pike County Breakdown. Earl Scruggs. Low Down, Hank 3. Yeah, you fuck with Hank 3 at all?
I don't listen to it that
Hank
much.
Williams.
I should though.
I got Riding the Danville Pike, Blue Highway. Donna Lee, Charlie Parker. Concerning Hobbits, Howard Shore. This is on repeat. So,
I love that, man.
oh yeah, you guys probably can't play that shit on there. My bad.
That's okay. We can still on the audio version we can.
The Flower and the Corpse, Flesh and Blood Robot. The Game, Blue Highway. Harbor of Love, Stanley Brothers. Stratosphere Boogie, Jimmy Bryant. Cold Virginia Night, Ronnie Bowman. SOS, Wes Montgomery. Scapegoat Blues, Jimmy Herring. Whale, Bud Powell. Something in the Way, Nirvana. More Ronnie Bowman. More Suicide Boys. Hank 3.
Gang.
Long Tall Sally, Lil Rich. Yep.
Dude, I used to love Chuck Berry, bro.
Oh, fuck yeah, man.
I used to listen to so much Chuck Berry.
He's the shit.
What have I been listening? I was listening to Steven Wilson Jr. Is there anything else that you want to share, Billy, or anything else you were thinking about?
Well,
Did you want to play anything? Are you cool? You don't have. I'm not saying you have to at all. And I just saw you.
I could play something.
You brought an instrument.
Yeah, let me rock a piss or something. I could pick a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Dude. One question I had. Is there something on your mind?
Well, no, I was just saying, I've just been working on a record like the last couple weeks. We started out in LA working at this studio, and it's just like I'm kind of at the point in my career right now where I just don't feel like I need to go into like a big studio and have all that. Like, so the last year and a half, I've been sort of building a studio at my house, and we just started cutting there. We've done 2 sessions so far. Like we were there for like a week, and then we were there for like 5 days. So I got like 21 new songs in the can.
Wow.
That I recorded at home, and it's so awesome because like, the vibe is so killer there. We have the whole house, and then the studio is just like one little section. So whenever you're not in the studio, you have a whole house. Plus, I sort of live out in the country, and like we can like ride bikes and stuff while we're at the studio, and like go outside and just it's just like such a killer vibe. So that's what I've been doing the last couple weeks is working at home and making a record, and it's pretty badass, man. I'm loving like having my own studio to work at.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's one reason why I like having my job here at home, It's nice to be able to just have your job at home. Oh, yeah. Do you have a family at home or no?
I have a wife.
Oh, you do?
And I have a cat.
Okay, that's a family.
Yep.
Oh, in some cultures, yeah. Japan? In Japan, that's considered, I think, a large family.
Right. Yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah.
Well, let me rock a piss, and I'll pick a tune for you.
Yeah, will you?
Yeah.
That'd be sweet of you, man. Thank you so much. Wow.
This guitar right here is like, it's my pride and joy. This is a 1940 Martin D28.
Praise God, baby. Dang.
Yeah, man.
Wow, who gave it to you?
I did. Let's see. You recording in there? Well, since we were talking about all that. All them powders and such. Gotta give you guys this little cautionary tale.
Okay. Amen, brother.
Gotta get her in tune first.
Oh, yeah.
All right, here goes the old cocaine blues. Or wait, some people call it Tell It to Me. Well, sniffing that cocaine all over town, honey, don't let my deal go down. Hey, hey, buddy, let the cocaine be. It was meant for horses, not for men. Doctor said he'd kill you, but he didn't know when. Hey, hey, buddy, let the cocaine be. Yeah, tell it to me. Drink corn liquor, let the cocaine be. Hey, hey, buddy, let the cocaine be. Yeah, tell it to me. Drink corn liquor, let the cocaine be. Hey, hey, buddy, let the cocaine be. I'm walking up the fields, going down Main, trying to find a nickel for to buy cocaine. Hey, hey, buddy, let the cocaine be. It'll burn out your nose, your eyes turn red. The goddamn cocaine will kill you dead. Hey, hey, buddy, let the cocaine be. Yeah, tell it to me. Drink corn liquor, let the cocaine be. Hey, hey, buddy, let the cocaine be. Yeah, tell it to me. Drink corn liquor, let the cocaine be. Hey, hey, buddy, let the cocaine be. Well, I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's killed my friends, it's gonna kill me too. Hey, hey, buddy, let the cocaine be. There's some of you people, you think you're tough, sniffing that cocaine just like snuff. Hey, hey, buddy, let the cocaine be. Well, tell it to me. Drink corn liquor, let the cocaine be. Hey, hey, buddy, let the cocaine be. Yeah, tell it to me. Drink corn liquor, let the cocaine be. Hey, hey, buddy, let the cocaine be.
Wow.
Hell yeah, man.
Bro, that's so cool. Wow, man.
Got one more for you.
All right.
This one's from the late, great Blaze Foley. I wanna go home with an armadillo, spread her little legs and really try to thrill her to her very soul with my cowboy pole. Oh, scaly skin around my face, Lord, I'll be her saving grace. I wanna go home with an armadillo, my cowboy pole. Wake up in the morning with my head on my pillow, my finger in her ass, you know I'll thrill her. I wanna go home with an armadillo on my cowboy pole.
Amen.
I wanna go home with an armadillo sleeping on my pillow next to me. My rough old hands in my Vaseline. Oh, she made a fool of me. No more songs about armadillos. Na 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 na. I wanna go home with an armadillo on my cowboy pole. I wanna go home with an armadillo on my cowboy pole.
Let's go. Bro, that's so cool,
The old
man.
armadillo song.
Yeah, bro, look. Everybody wants to catch a stray, man. That's for damn sure. God, yeah, because sometimes you're just laying there after you hit them and you're like, now what do we do? Billy Strings, dude. Thank you so much, man.
Oh.
What is that feeling you have whenever whenever you lock in on a, there's videos of you just in there. Is it a video to keep going, or are you still knowing where you're placing stuff, or is it just like a second language? What is it like?
I just get inside of there and try to, trying to pay attention. I don't know, like, almost feels like stuff goes away, everything else goes away sometimes. Like when I'm on stage and I'm really getting focused, it's kind of like playing basketball, I imagine. It's like you got to pay attention. If somebody passes you the ball and you're not ready to catch it, you know what I mean? With me and my band, it's like we're just in there, we're super focused, we're playing, and it's like we're passing the ball around. It's like, I imagine it's kind of like playing ball, It's like you got to be in the fucking focus,
Yeah. Wow, it's fascinating, man. Dude, thanks so much, bro. You made me, dude, you just...
Thank you, brother.
I think I was just kind of having a day too, and just like, this was just like about like, it just made me like feel like what's important, just talking about stuff with people. It's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. Billy Strings, check him out wherever he is. Where will people be able, you'll just be touring again sometime. It's so funny. I was just saying, because I've been going to places where you had played and everybody's like, that motherfucker's crazy. That's what they say everywhere, bro.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
Well, man, if you ever want to come out to a show, just let me know. I'll put you on the list and stuff. You're always welcome. So,
I appreciate it, man. Same, bro. Thank you so much. Billy Strings.
thank you.
Now I'm just floating on the breeze, and I feel I'm falling like these leaves. I must be cornerstone. Oh,